Thank you. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Hello. Thank you for that lovely introduction. Okay, as you heard, my name is David. I'm from a place called Trend Watching. Our obsession is consumerism, with consumer trends, really with where consumerism, where your customers, if you are a business owner, where they are heading. But we are digital people, we're tech people. So today I've just chosen 4 big consumer trends, digital-fueled consumer trends that could give us a look at where digital and technology and mobile and all of that is heading, where the expectations are heading. And you only have to look after the last 12 months to see how crazy expectations are going. It's been an amazing 12 months. Pokemon Go came along, changed the way we all see the world. Google's DeepMind beat the world's best Go player. We saw the world's first commercial delivery, actually of beer. This is Budweiser driving 50,000 bottles of beer in a driverless truck 120 miles across America. There was a little man sitting in there, don't worry, it's not as dangerous as it sounds, but still pretty amazing. We saw the first smartphone with a tricorder inside. If you're a Star Trek fan, you know what I'm talking about when I say tricorder. But this is a phone that you can point at any object, and it will scan that object and tell you exactly what is inside, okay? Wow. It's using near-infrared light to scan the object and come back and tell you what that object is. That is crazy. But it's not just it's not just technological change. We've seen amazing political and social change too. This guy is a part of that story. That's caused some ripples out there. It's caused ripples for brands and for technology companies too. Okay, you remember back in January, the delete Uber affair, scandal, whatever you want to call it. Okay, 200,000 Uber accounts went up in smoke because people were not happy with Donald Trump's Muslim travel ban. So we know we're in a very volatile time for brands and technology companies because of the pace of change right now. Put all that together, and it can just start to feel like a crazy avalanche, just an avalanche of innovation, new products, new services, new campaigns constantly coming your way. It's very hard to know what to do about it, okay, how to just even make sense of it, let alone devise a strategy and decide what you are going to do. That is where trends can be useful, okay? That is where trends can be your best friend. Now, when I say trends, I'm open to being misunderstood. I don't just mean new technologies, okay? I don't mean what's viral online. I don't mean what's trending online right now. No, okay? When I talk about trends, I have a quite strict definition of a consumer trend that goes like this. A trend is a new manifestation among people of a fundamental need or want. Now, there's quite a lot going on even in that definition, so I just want to take a step back from it for a moment, just unpack our model of how new consumer trends emerge. Okay, I just want to look for a minute at how trends emerge, what trends really are, and that's going to be really useful when I get on to the 4 trends I want to share with you guys today. So very simply, okay, we have this model of consumer trends that says on the one hand there is change. The world is changing around us all the time. Technological change, social change, political change, whatever. We live with very rapid change. We're used to that. Okay? On the other hand, there's human nature, which fundamentally does not change that much over time. So we human beings are motivated by this set of basic needs and wants, value, security, excitement, love, okay, whatever it is at that particular moment. Those basic needs do not change really over time. Decade on decade, even century on century, they are very stable. They pretty much don't change. Now, our model of how consumer trends emerge, when it's put at its most simplest, just says this. It says, new consumer trends emerge when external change, when some change unlocks a new way of serving a basic human need. Okay, so consumer trends are all about new ways of serving age-old human needs. And crucially, we think you can see that happening. The best way to spot these trends is to look out into the world, look at the innovations, the new products, new services, new campaigns coming into the market, and just ask yourself, does this innovation serve a basic human need in a new way? Okay? How does this innovation serve one of these age-old needs in a new way? Another very simple way of saying all this is I am looking for the innovations that change consumer expectations. Because when an innovation comes into the market and it serves a basic human need in a new way, it creates new consumer expectations. Okay? It causes consumers to expect new things. And the crucial thing about those expectations is once new expectations have been created, they spread. They spread across markets, they spread across industries, they spread across demographics. They will eventually spread all the way to your door. Okay? Whoever you are, whatever your business is, whatever you are doing, they will eventually spread those new customer expectations all the way to you. So if you're looking out there at the world of innovations, you're asking, how do these innovations create new customer expectations? You can be empowered to spot the trends before they reach you and innovate around them. Okay, this idea of consumer expectations spreading should cause innovators, people from brands, marketers, founders, whoever you are, it should cause you to ask one very simple but very scary question, and that is, who am I really competing against? It's not necessarily the other people in your industry, your direct competitors, okay, the guys that you're obsessed with beating. It's not just them. It's certainly not necessarily the other people who happen to be geographically next to you. It is the brands, the businesses, the startups, whoever they are, wherever they're from, who are creating the new expectations that will eventually spread all the way to your door. That's why we're obsessed with this. We're obsessed with watching innovations. This is our spotting network. It's a network of thousands of people all around the world, people just like you, who are sending us examples of new products, new services, new campaigns that they spot in their market every day. Okay, and that's what we're going to look at today. It's going to be 5 trends, lots of innovations. I just want you guys to be relentless about asking, how are these innovations changing consumer expectations? And crucially, what does that mean for me? How can I build something? My next app, my next platform, my next marketing campaign, how can I build something that will serve those expectations? I'm just looking for you to have that one light bulb moment, one example that you see and you're like, yes, aha, I can do something with this. You know, I'm going to take this back to the office. I'm going to show it to my team. We could run with this idea. We could adapt to this and do something ourselves. Okay, all that said, let me grab some water here. Let's move on to the trends. Okay, so my first trend starts here. I talked to you about how one of the fundamental building blocks of a trend is a basic human need. Now, in affluent societies like ours, we are very lucky, okay? Our most basic human needs are met. When you think about shelter, food, safety, you know, for the most part, those very basic human needs are met for us. In that kind of environment, something very important happens. And that is another basic human need rises to the surface, and that basic human need is status, okay? Status is probably the primary driver of consumer behavior, of the behavior of your customers in affluent societies. And we know what old-fashioned consumer status looks like, okay? It looks like this. It's like the supercar, you know, the designer handbag, the expensive holiday. It's basically things that say, I have a lot. I am materially affluent. Now, something very interesting and important is happening now to status. And that is that we're so affluent now that really these things are losing their power to mark us out as special, okay? These things do not have the status power that they used to have. Something very interesting is happening to status in 2017. It's been happening for a while, really. And that is these days status looks more like this, okay? And intuitively, you guys all know this. Status now is not so much about what I have, it's more about who I am as a person. So more connected, more creative, healthier, smarter, like more entrepreneurial, like whatever it is, that's where status is now, okay? And of course that has been massively amplified by social media, which has turned personal achievement into just this currency. We're all just like online, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, look at what I've done. Okay, that's where status is in 2017. Some other interesting force is disrupting all of that now, and that is this, okay? And we looked at it very quickly at the beginning. Technology. In particular, I want to focus on AI. Okay, because it's not just tech people like us who saw DeepMind beat the world's best Go player last year, and he's having a crack at another Go player right now, apparently. Everyone saw it, okay? Your customers saw it. So rising numbers of people out there know that for a bounded set of tasks, bounded but growing, AI is just better than me, or better than any human being at getting the job done. Okay, now when you put all that together, this relentless quest for self-improvement fueled by status, and the knowledge that AI is coming, and AI is powerful, and it's better than me at a lot of things, you put all that together, you get to my first trend, which is this, okay, motivated mindlessness. And motivated mindlessness, very simply, is about saying in 2017, consumers are going to look to brands and businesses to put AI to work to supercharge their self-improvement, okay, to help them become the people they want to become. And I just want to show you some examples of how that's playing out. So first example, a very simple one. This is Google Goals. Goals is a new feature in Calendar, in Google Calendar, okay, that they launched recently. What Goals is all about is helping you schedule your practice sessions, your self-improvement sessions, your gym sessions, whatever it is. So you pick a self-improvement activity like learn the violin or go to the gym or like whatever you want to do, okay? Goals will help you schedule those sessions through your calendar. It's using AI to intelligently schedule the sessions. Okay, if you miss a session, it will learn that and it will reschedule all your sessions for you. Over time, it's using AI to learn more about who you are as a person. And of course, it sees all your other schedule too. It reads your emails, it does all of that. It learns about you as a person. It learns about the times you're most likely to do it and the times you're most likely not to. Okay, so it's just this very simple example of using artificial intelligence to supercharge self-improvement. But check this out. This is Bolt. This is an Indian startup. What they're doing is they're creating an ecosystem of wearable devices. So wristband, headset, all this stuff. It's going to collect all this data about you, physiological data about your activity, your sleep, your diet. But crucially, Bolt is going to use AI to give you your own personalized trainer, okay, your own personalized coach. So it's going to use AI to crunch all that data and deliver real-time personalized coaching and advice to you. You guys are technology guys, okay? You all know the quantified self. Those, you know, we had all this measurement, collecting all this data. It turned out that wearing those devices and doing the things that the data was telling you you were supposed to be doing was kind of hard. Okay, people lost interest in their devices after 6 months or a year or whatever. What Bolt is betting on is that AI personalized coaching will be the advice, okay, that makes it all tie together, that makes you want to keep wearing that device because you're getting this continuous stream of personalized advice telling you how to be better, like how to be healthier, how to sleep better, how to eat better, and so on. Okay, one more example. This is Ava. This is an app that's all about nutrition. So you have what you're going to eat, you take out your smartphone, take a picture of it with Ava, and Ava uses machine learning and AI to just go off into the ether, go off into the internet, and recognize the food you're eating, and come back with nutritional advice about what you're about to eat. And over time, it learns about your diet, it learns about your dietary habits, okay? And it, again, can start to give you personalized advice about your diet, like, you know, you eat way too many biscuits, you know, you need to cut down on the beer, like whatever it is, it's going to start to give you advice about your diet because it's learning about your diet using AI. It doesn't have to be about fitness and wellness and sleep and those kinds of physical things. Okay, think about how you could put AI to work in other ways to help people self-improve in other domains. Okay, and just one example of that, this is Plum. This is a Facebook Messenger chatbot. This Facebook Messenger chatbot syncs up to your bank account, okay? And it uses AI to monitor your spending. Yeah, pretty scary. Monitors your income and your spending, and then it starts to give you advice about your monthly budget. Okay, and it starts to say to you, hey, like, you know, you're spending so fast this month, you're going to run out of money before the end of the month. You can also tell Plum that you want to save a certain amount of money a month. So I want to save $100 a month, and it will intelligently kind of rejig your budget around that. automatically deposit your savings and make sure that you don't run out of money. And again, over time, it's just learning more and more about you. Okay, so again, a great example of using AI just to help people improve in a certain domain of their lives, in this case, finance. So can you take your first light bulb moment there? How can you guys, and I know you can, put AI to work just to supercharge the self-improvement of your customers, okay, of your users? Consumers out there are on this epic quest for self-improvement because it's so tied up with their status now. And they know that AI is powerful. If you can address that yearning for self-improvement using AI, then you're in a very, very powerful place. Now, I'm not saying it's going to look anything like these examples. Okay? It might be something completely different. I'm not saying you have to make an app that's all about taking a picture of what you had for dinner or whatever. I'm talking about the expectations that these examples create. People out there will see these examples, and they're going to be like, if these guys can do it, how come you can't do it? You know? Why doesn't my local bank help me with my budget using AI? Okay, why doesn't some big food brand create an app for me that's all about AI and my diet? Okay, the expectations are there. People are looking to you guys to serve them. Okay, trend number 2. So this trend starts here. Yes, consumers are obsessed with self-improvement, but they're also just obsessed with their own lives, their own lifestyles, their own identities, really. And we have a lot to be happy about in 2017. I think it's fair to say that we live in a time when people just feel more free than ever to construct their own lifestyles, construct their own mindsets, you know, dispense with tired old like social expectation, just be the people they want to be, live the lives they want to live. But you know, there's been some interesting developments recently, okay? We live in fractious times now, and some people feel that some of those personal freedoms and some of our ability to celebrate diversity and to accept people for who they are, some of that is going backwards, is falling away, okay? And that's causing some consternation. People out there are concerned about that. We've seen big protests happening in the US and elsewhere because of that. We've seen the same story play out online. Okay? Certainly tech people like us, if you rewind to the very early days of the internet, you know, there was this utopian dream. If you think about the hippies in California who kind of created online culture, it was this dream of like perfect self-expression and sharing and personal freedom and all of that. And yeah, like some of that has come true, and people like Mark Zuckerberg have like co-opted that dream and they're selling it to us. But we've had some reminders that the online space also is not perfect when it comes to personal freedom and liberation and all of that. Okay, we've had some reminders of that in the last 12 months. You all remember this, the Airbnb while black scandal. Okay, just this massive scandal that black users of Airbnb found it harder to get accepted for a booking than white users. Okay, really shocking, and it caused many ripples online. The good news amid all of those difficulties is just that this demand for personal freedom, this expectation that I should be able to be the person I want to be and live the life I want to live, that is not going away, okay? It's not going anywhere. In fact, I think it's fair to say it's getting stronger and stronger all the time. Now, when you put all of that together, that whole story together, you come to my second trend, which is this, okay? Incognito individuals. And incognito individuals is about saying, in 2017, consumers, your users, are going to be looking to put new and interesting and innovative forms of anonymity to work to set them free online. Okay, this is about using online anonymity to set myself free. Free to say what I want to say online, be who I want to be, think the things I want to think, express myself the way I want to express myself, and free also to know that I'm not going to be the target of online prejudice. Okay, so I just want to show you some examples of how people are using online anonymity in this way already. Let's start with a very simple, straightforward example. This is interviewing.io. This is a platform for software interviews. Okay, so an interviewer can interview a software coder for a job using this platform. They recently launched a very interesting new feature, and it's simply this. It anonymizes the voices of both the interviewer and the interviewee, and particularly it gender anonymizes them. So no one can tell whether the interviewer and the interviewee is a man or a woman. We know that the tech industry has a massive problem with gender diversity. Okay? Like, I don't want to put a number on it, but almost all the software developers and coders and everything that Silicon Valley are hiring and that are being hired in London and Vilnius and everywhere are men, okay? This is clearly aimed at that problem. It's about using online anonymity to make sure that I get a fair hearing, okay? That I'm not the target of unfair prejudice. This, however, is even more interesting. This is Blind. This is an online social network that's targeted specifically at colleagues. So it launched in South Korea, but it's now huge in Silicon Valley. There are teams from like Amazon, Yahoo, Apple, Facebook, thousands of people all using this anonymous social network to talk to their colleagues about what's going on in the office. Okay? So they're using it to talk about office politics. They're using it to talk about their competitors, who's been hired, who's been fired. And because you are totally anonymous, you again are free to just say what you want to say without fear that your boss is listening or someone's listening, you're going to get into trouble. There's none of that, okay, because no one knows who you are. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, especially you guys, because you're tech people. We've been here before. We've had anonymous social networking before. Whisper and Secret back in 2014 were these anonymous social networks, and they were going to transform social networking. This was going to be the massive new thing. Being anonymous online was going to be this huge deal all over again. It didn't turn out that way. Whisper and Secret came crashing down for one reason, and that reason was this, okay, bullying. Bullying and toxic harassment, okay, because it turns out that when you allow people to be anonymous online, you just set free some of the worst aspects of human nature, and you get bullying, you get harassment, you get really bad behavior. And that kind of behavior killed Whisper and Secret, okay? They went crashing down in flames because of that kind of behavior. But look at this example. This is CANDID. This is a new anonymous social network. You're completely anonymous, you come to CANDID, you talk, no one knows who you are, but crucially, CANDID is going to use AI to weed out toxic bullying and harassment, okay? So think about that. For the first time ever, we might be able to combine two things that we've never been able to combine before. That's the freedom of self-expression that comes with being totally anonymous, with the security of knowing that I am not going to be the victim of bullying and harassment, okay? The security of knowing that this is a civilized place to be and bad behavior is not allowed. We've never been able to have those things together before online. So that is a very, very powerful new development. If you think all this sounds a bit niche, okay, then don't. Just think about the 150 million daily active users on Snapchat who are already playing with their identity, okay, already using masks, already disguising themselves. This is not a niche concern, this is a massive concern. One other reason why online anonymity is such a big deal in 2017, that's this, the filter bubble. We know that online users are just wrapped in this algorithmically generated bubble that just feeds them information and ideas and all of that that they already agree with, okay, and they're trapped in there. And we are all trapped in there, okay, and that's a massive problem. Some people think that the election of Donald Trump and Brexit in the UK too was helped by that. Okay, because fake information was like algorithmically targeted at the people who were most likely to believe it. So it's a real problem. The filter bubble that we can't break out of is a real problem. Just one last example, look at this. This is anti-persona. Very simple example, but very powerful, because anti-persona is simply about allowing you to see Twitter through the eyes of any other user. So this person's chosen Tim Cook for some reason, okay, but you can choose whoever you want, and it will show you how Twitter looks to that person. Apart from their private messages, obviously, you don't see those. But you can sign in as any other person and see how Twitter looks to that person. Okay, so it's just about breaking out of that filter bubble that you are trapped in online. Now, obviously, this is just for fun, okay? This is playful. But we know the filter bubble operates in other ways too. We know the filter bubble operates on price, okay? Airline sites and Amazon and all kinds of other people are showing you a different price to the other guy because of your filter bubble, because of who they think you are. Imagine a tool that could break you out of that filter bubble and show you prices that the other guy sees. Like, how much would you charge me if I was the guy living down the road or some guy in Berlin or whatever it is? Okay, that is a really powerful question. Breaking out this filter bubble is a really powerful question for users. So can you take your second light bulb moment there? How can you put anonymity to work to help people make sure they're free to say what they want to say, not be the victim of prejudice, break out of their filter bubble, okay? Whatever it is, how can you use online anonymity in interesting new ways for your users in 2017, 2018? It's a really powerful question. And of course, one final thought, it's not about telling people to hide who they are. Okay? It's about giving them the choice, the empowerment to be free from that identity sometimes, only when they want to. Okay? Only when they want to. That's really important. Trend number 3 starts here. Yes, people care about having a voice and their identity and justice. They also just want stuff to be amazing, okay? They just want their lives to be easy. They want really cool stuff. And personalization has always been a part of that. And, you know, going back to the filter bubble just for a second, there's a reason the filter bubble exists. Sometimes it's a problem. Most of the time, it's amazing, okay? Most of the time, people love the filter bubble. So personalization has always been part of how we make things special, make things great for people. Tell them this is just for you. You know, I made this just for you, all around you. And we're going to continue to see tons and tons of digital-fueled personalization examples. I just wanted to throw this one in. This is an ADIDAS store in Berlin, where you come, you use these touch screens to design your own sweater. Okay, you know, however you design your sweater, however you want it to be, push the button, and they'll make that sweater for you in 15 minutes. Okay, we're going to continue to see tons of that in 2017, 2018. Of course we are. But where is personalization heading? Okay, we know the answer, a massive part of the answer to that is data. And this is really the filter bubble part of this trend. The filter bubble exists because often it's amazing, it's great. I live in this walled garden of algorithmically generated recommendations and content, and I love it. Okay, and something very interesting is happening now, and that is that people are starting to feel that the algorithms know them better than they know themselves. And the best and most recent example of this is Spotify weekly playlist. Okay, Spotify obviously listens to everything that you are listening to, and it uses that to create this unique weekly playlist just for you. And people have been freaked out about how good Spotify is at knowing the music that they're going to like. Okay, and you see tweets like this. It's like, Spotify knows me so well, I should marry Spotify. Okay, that is how well people feel these algorithms know them, like better than they know themselves. And that brings me to my third trend, true self. True self is about saying, in 2017, 2018, your users are going to look to you to do the same thing. They're going to look to you to use data, to use new kinds of information, to personalize for them, to give them things that even they didn't really know they wanted. Okay, this is the next evolution of personalization. It's not about asking, what do you want? And then they have to tell you, or they have to design it themselves. It's just saying, listen, I know you better than you know yourself. I'm going to tell you what you want. And I'm going to show you some examples of how this is playing out. So one interesting example can start here. This is Travel Unwrapped. This is a new tour company. They're not using data, they're using DNA. So if you want to engage with this tour company, first you take a DNA test, you do like one of those DNA swabs, and they send it to a lab, and they come back to you with your genetic heritage. Okay, they say, this is where your DNA is from. And then they devise a world tour for you just for you, unique to you, based on your genetic heritage. Okay, so this is a tour around the world that's all about who you are as a person. Okay, and it's about things that even you didn't know about yourself because they've used the DNA to find out those things. Like 23% of your DNA is from the Middle East, or 30% of your DNA is from like South America, right? Wow. And now you're going to go on this tour and see those places for yourself. So that's one great example of what I would call true self-personalization, using information to tell people things about themselves they didn't know themselves. Where's this heading? This is eBay. They launched this pop-up in London at Christmas time. They're using face recognition, okay, to see what kind of person you are and suggest to you the gifts that you should buy your relatives for Christmas, okay? They're looking at your face, deciding what kind of person you are, and then saying, okay, based on that, I think you should get your brother a bicycle, okay? Now that is crazy, that is nuts, okay? But remember, when we look at innovations like this and we're thinking about trends, okay, it's not really about the success of the innovation. It's about the expectations that are being created. People see this now. Okay, it is subtly rewiring what they expect of you. Okay, how can you put information to work in other ways to give me recommendations that are things that I would never have thought of if you'd asked me? Okay. This is where it gets even crazier. This is the Singapore Tourism Board. They recently used headsets to measure brain waves, okay, and then devise special itineraries for travelers based on those brain waves. So they're looking at, again, the type of person you are and saying, okay, based on your brain waves, we can see that you're this type of person. We think you should visit these places in Singapore. Okay, again, it's pretty crazy. But think about the expectations. In fact, the expectations are going so far that Skin, this condom brand, launched a chatbot in Facebook Messenger that listens to your voice and decides how sexy you are, and then tells you what type of condom you should buy. Okay? So you thought the eBay one was crazy. That is crazy. Okay? That is nuts. It's fun, it's playful, but the expectations it's tapping into are very powerful and very real, okay? So loads of you guys are working in places where you have a ton of user data. How can you put that data to work to offer true self-personalization, to say to your users, we know you better than you know yourselves. We're not going to ask you what you want, we're going to tell you. Okay, and you're going to love it. Okay, if you can tap into that expectation, again, you're on very powerful ground. Okay, I have time. I'm going to do my final trend. So trend number 4 is a big idea to end on. And it starts here with experiences, okay? Because yes, we are digital people, we're tech people, but the power of the world out there, the power of real experiences for us as human beings will never fade. Okay, and for years now, we've been talking about this, the experience economy. This is like the endless, obsessive search for new, amazing, powerful experiences. And the reason that search is so obsessive goes back to what we talked about right at the beginning, status. Okay, because when you have a model of status that's all about who I am as a person, then what I've done, what I've experienced is part of that who I am. Okay? So this search for amazing experiences, rare, surprising, really cool experiences is now a massive part of my status, okay? Because I want to say that I've had amazing experiences that you haven't had. Okay? We know that the experience economy has gone crazy, even just in the UK, okay? You can dine in the sky. It doesn't look that safe, but you can. You can star in your own movie. This is Secret Cinema doing Back to the Future. You can walk through the Back to the Future world. And if you're not doing all of that, then you're seeing your friends relentlessly Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, because again, social media has massively amplified the experience economy. It's turned experiences into this very shareable currency online. Like, hey, look what I'm doing that you've never done. Okay? That's what the experience economy is all about. Here is an interesting question then. What next for the experience economy? That is a huge question right now. Here's one answer that's interesting. The iconic technologist Kevin Kelly said something very interesting recently. He said, we're moving from an internet where information is the basic unit of currency to an internet where experiences are the basic unit of currency. So because of the maturing of virtual reality and augmented reality technologies, digital experiences are now starting to become as real to people. They have the same experiential weight for people as experiences out there in the real world. That is huge. Okay, moving from an internet of information to an internet of experiences. And that brings me to my final trend, virtual experience economy. And this trend is simply about adding one final thought to that thought. And that is this, okay, in a world where these digital experiences, VR and AR experiences, are becoming as real to people as real-world experiences, then these digital experiences are going to become a status currency too. So just like experiences out in the real world, digital experiences are going to become about status. Now think about that shift, okay? It's really significant. Traditionally, digital experiences have always been just about finding something out, okay, about information, or just about being entertained, okay? You watch a YouTube video, you play a game, it's just entertainment. Now we are moving to a world where digital experiences can be about status, okay? They can be status-worthy in their own right. They're just something you want to do because they give you status that you can then boast about to your friends. Look at this amazing thing I've done that you haven't done. I just want to show you some examples of how that is playing out. First of all, how do we know that digital experiences are becoming as real to people as real-world experiences? Well, this was a massive clue, right, last year. Hundreds of millions of people chasing these digital apparitions, okay, these little guys around the streets of New York, Vilnius, Berlin, London, everywhere, okay? These things are not real, just in case you didn't realize. They don't really exist, okay? But that was an experience that was as real to people as any experience they have out there in the real world, okay? Think, though, about how Pokemon Go became more than just a game. It became like a platform for status display. So we saw, you know, hipsters socializing because of Pokemon Go. In Brooklyn, they'd all be getting together, talking to each other. Hey, we're members of the same club. You know, we're part of the same community. That became a status thing, like saying, I'm a Pokemon Go player too. We saw this explosion of creativity. Okay, so people on YouTube, on Snapchat, creating content about their Pokemon Go experiences. So creativity was a massive part of it. And winning was a part of it. Okay, this guy, Nick Johnson, he won Pokemon Go. He was the first one to collect all however many thousand monsters. Okay, he went on a global tour to do that. It was sponsored by Marriott. So there's an opportunity for you if you're out there, Marriott, or any other hotel group. Winning can still be a thing in the virtual experience economy. Now, I've started here for a reason. You will probably not make the next Pokemon Go. Maybe someone out there will, but most of you won't, okay? Because only one person is going to do that. But when the next Pokemon Go comes along, the next virtual experience that has hundreds of millions of users, think about how you can empower your customers, okay, to use it as a status platform. Can you facilitate them socializing? Can you help them to create around it? Can you help them win it? Okay? If you can do that, then the next Pokemon Go that comes along, you can use that to spread some love to your users, to spread some love to your customers. But I just want to look at some other ways in which virtual experiences are going to become status currencies in their own right. Okay? Because if you don't create the next Pokemon Go, these are some other ideas you can use to make a status-worthy virtual experience. There's some virtual experiences that are just going to be so terrifying, okay, so scary, that just being able to do them is going to be a status currency. It's going to be something to boast about. This is the Brookhaven Experiments. It's a VR game. Okay, it's reputed to be one of the most terrifying VR games out there. Playing it looks and feels a bit like this, okay? arrived. Okay. So yes, VR experiences are going to be scary enough, okay, that just being able to do them is going to be a status currency. So you don't have to bungee jump now, you don't have to base jump off some building. You can just play a really terrifying VR experience and boast about that. Like, I'm so brave, I managed to do that. Now, one other way you can make a status-worthy virtual experience is to think about culture. Okay, this is at the Seattle Art Museum. It was an AR exhibition by the digital artist Tomiko Thiel. You walked around the gardens of this art museum with an iPad, and this was a digital installation that was all about showing you what the Earth will look like once climate change has wreaked like maximum damage on the Earth, okay, which hopefully never happens, but maybe it will. Think about how much of a status currency cultural activities are. Like, I went to this exhibition, or I went to this piece of theater. Now, digital culture is going to become a status currency in its own right. Okay, so if you don't want to terrify people, then you can culturally enrich them, and that will be a status currency. Think about this. This is huge, right? This is Google Earth VR. Remember the first time you used Google Maps out on the street, okay? And how transformational that felt. You just knew where you were, you knew where you needed to go, especially if you're always getting lost like me. Okay, but that was just all about navigation. That was about information. Here is Google Earth that's about experiences, because this is Google Earth in virtual reality. You can visit any place on the planet. You can go to Manhattan. You can go to the Amazon rainforest. Okay, you can go to, you know, the South Island of New Zealand, right? You can experience all of that and send digital postcards back saying, look where I've been, okay? Look where I've been that you haven't been. We are at the eve now of a time where that is going to be just as powerful, just as much of a status currency as doing those things out in the real world. And one final example to leave you with, just a signal of how mainstream this is becoming, okay? How close we are to this world. This is ABBA. They're going out on tour next year in 2018. It's not going to be a real world tour. They're partnering with Universal Music to go out on a virtual reality tour. Okay, so this is going to be a VR experience. Now, you know, we know who ABBA's core fan base are. Okay, they've got a lot of young fans, but some of their fan base is kind of getting older now. They, you know, to devise a VR experience for that fan base just is a real sign, to my mind, of how mainstream this is becoming, how close we are to this world. So I would love you to take a light bulb moment there. How can you create digital experiences in 2018, virtual experiences, augmented reality experiences that become a status currency for your users? Okay, if you can ask that question tomorrow, then you're in a very powerful place. That brings my trends to an end. Okay, there are so many trends I could have shared with you. I hope you find those 4 useful. More than just the trends, I hope I've given you just the beginnings of a new way of looking at the world, okay? A new way of seeing innovation, which is to go out into the world and look at the new products, the new services, the new campaigns coming towards you and ask yourself, does this innovation serve a basic human need in a new way? Okay? Does this innovation change what consumers expect, and how can I respond to those new expectations? If you do that, okay, and it becomes a habit, then you are also a trend watcher. Okay? You can go out into the world, start spotting trends of your own, and start responding to those trends. Then you will win in the expectation economy. Okay, you can see the expectations coming towards you before they get to your door. Then, of course, you have to apply trends. So here is my call to action. Okay, trends, the ones I've shown you or the ones you spot yourself, are useless if you don't do something with them. Okay, trends are useless if you just know them. You have to act on them, apply them, go back to your team, think about how you can innovate your next product, service, campaign, whatever it is, around that trend. That is more than enough from me, though. Thank you so much for listening. It's been super fun. Thank you. Thank you.
David Mattin, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks.
David, we don't have time for a Q&A, but will you be... We don't have time for Q&A, but will you be around here for a coffee so people can approach you?
I'll be around for sure, and I'm also very happy to share the deck, and you can, if you don't see me, you can always email me, you know?
Okay, so if you want, he'll be out there in the lobby in a couple of minutes. Meet him there for more questions. Thanks a lot, and be back.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thanks.